everyone, I miss you, so I'm here today to read chapters 21 and 22 of the story. Enjoy! Connor let me into the small two-bedroom apartment he shared with his mom. I scanned the room and noted the sparse furnishings, a three-person couch, a small coffee table, a side table, and a lamp. No pictures hung on the walls, and I saw a couple of unopened boxes stacked in one corner. How long have you been here again? I asked. A little over a year, Connor said. I know. Mom works a lot and hasn't had a whole lot of time to decorate or anything. Plus, we hope we aren't going to be here forever. I tried not to look too sad for Connor when I told him I hope so too. Connor barked as we unloaded our bags into the small kitchen table. It only had two chairs. Just then, a bedraggled-looking blonde woman wearing a nightgown and a robe emerged from a small hallway. You home, baby? She asked. Then she noticed me. She looked both surprised and embarrassed as she pulled her robe closed and tightened the belt. Oh, she breathed. You brought a friend home. Mom, this is Avon. She glanced briefly at my torso. Hi, Avon. I'm sorry I'm not more presentable for you. That's okay, I said, to try to ease her embarrassment. Connor told me you had to work all night. She gazed at Connor. Yeah, I was just coming out to tell him there's a bowl of macaroni and cheese in the fridge for him to heat up for dinner. I'm sorry I don't have more. No, that's okay, I said before she could finish. Mom, Aiden just came over for a couple of hours to play video games. Her mom will be picking her up before dinner. Connor's mom looked so embarrassed about the situation that I felt bad Connor hadn't been able to give her some kind of warning about me coming over. I'm sorry for the surprise, Mrs. Bradley. I'm happy to finally meet you. I'm happy to meet you too, Avon. It's nice to see Connor with a friend. Perhaps you can come over again on another day when I'm a little bit more myself. Oh yeah, I'd love to. I don't know what got into me, but then I said to her, and maybe you could come to the next Tourette support meeting with us? Connor jerked his head at me, and I immediately realized she knew nothing about it. Something I think I had already suspected. Her eyes were large with surprise. Tourette support meeting, she said slowly. Connor shrugged his shoulders. Yeah, Avon and I went to support meeting one day while you were working. Connor, I wish you could tell me about these things. Her eyebrows furrowed together. How did you get there? Avon's mom drove us. Don't worry, I said, noticing the look of concern on her face. We're not like a psycho family or anything. We're totally normal, except for... I motioned towards my shoulders with my head, but my parents had nothing to do with that. She gave me a tired smile. I'm sure your family is lovely. She turned her attention back to Connor. I'm happy you're going to a support group, baby. Just when Avon's mom comes to pick her up, I'd like to meet her, please? Connor nodded. She went to him and kissed the top of his head. I'm going back to sleep. Could you wake me up a little bit so I can make myself more presentable? Connor nodded again. Then she walked back down the small hallway and disappeared into the dark bedroom. I turned to Connor. Your mom's nice. I don't know why. He cut me off. I wish you hadn't told her about the support group. She doesn't have time to go, and now she's just going to feel bad about it. Why don't you at least give her a chance to decide what she wants to do? She doesn't need any more stress than she already has, he said. I don't think the support group would stress her out. I'm sure she's more stressed out not knowing what's going on with you. She's better off without having to deal with me. I suddenly saw things so clearly. It wasn't at all that Connor's mom couldn't stand him, as he had said. It was that Connor couldn't stand himself. He blamed himself for all his mother's problems. His dad leaving, his tiny apartment, her hectic work schedule. I knew he felt it was all his fault. But from what I'd just seen, I strongly doubted she felt the same way. Connor, she's your mom. She doesn't deal with you. She loves you. Why don't you let her? Why are you always trying to fix me? Connor snapped. Why don't you just be my friend, Avon? I don't need to be fixed. I don't want to fix you, I said. I don't think you're broken or anything. I just want to help you. Friends help each other, don't they? I'd rather you just play video games with me. That's how you can help me. I lowered my eyes and ran my rainbow stripe flat over the dingy carpet. Okay, I said, but I won't stop going to the meetings. You can come if you want, I shrugged. Whatever, I don't care. Connor's face softened and he grinned. Yeah, you do. And yeah, I'll come. Chapter 22. Connor and I walked up to the door of the Tourette support meeting. Here we go again, he said under his breath as I opened the door. This month's group was smaller. Only Dexter, Jack, and Mason were there. Hey, armless Avon, Dexter said. Is that a new tick, Dexter? I asked, thinking of his tendency to say inappropriate things. What do you mean, he said, a baffled expression on his face. I grinned at the floor. Never mind. Dexter patted the seat next to him. Come sit over here, chicken nipple. Connor and I sat in the two seats next to Dexter. Where's everyone else? I asked. I don't know, Dexter said. Maybe Rebecca slapped herself so hard, chicken nipple, that she's lying passed out on the kitchen floor. Jack snorted loudly. That's not cool, Dex, he said. I shook my head. Definitely not cool. I'm sorry, he said, clearly doing his best to look innocent. It could be the bathroom floor. That's enough, Dexter. Andrea looked up from the clipboard she held on her lap. That's almost crossing a line into making fun of instead of making fun with. She stared down at him, but I could hear some playfulness in her voice. I'm sorry. Dexter hung his head and stuck out his lip. I won't do it again. He covered his mouth to hide his obvious grin. Well, it looks like this is all we have today, Andrea said. Why don't we go ahead and get started? Since we all talked a little bit last month about our fear of going out in public, I thought this month would be a good time to talk about some techniques for staying relaxed when we go out. There's no reason any of you should feel you need to stay confined to your house out of fear of venturing out. It's so important you all live your lives as normally as possible and feel comfortable when going out in public. Is a big part of that. But what if we can't relax and our tics get really bad? Jack said, letting out his loud whooping noise. Don't already decide that you can't relax in public, Jack, Andrea said. That's why I'm going to teach you some techniques you can use. Are you going to tic in public? Probably yes. You have to accept that, but you don't have to allow it to get out of control. Is this going to be about habit reversal training? Connor asked, because I've already tried that. What's that? I asked him. Before he could answer me, Andrea said, No, Connor, we're not going to be discussing habit reversal training today. Connor turned to me. It's when you try to focus your attention on doing something that basically competes with the tic as soon as you feel the urge. Over time, it's supposed to make you feel the urge to tic less. Does it work? I asked. A little, Connor said, but I haven't been very good about doing it. It can work well for some kids, Andrea said, but today we're just going to focus on relaxing. I ignored her. Maybe you should try it again if it's helped, I told Connor. I told you I'm not going to therapy anymore, Avon, he said. Besides, it didn't work well for me. I frowned and kicked at my chair legs as Andrea went on about how to breathe deeply. We all closed our eyes and she told us to breathe in slowly through our noses and out slowly through our mouths. I found it difficult to relax with Dexter repeatedly saying, chicken nipple, next to me, but I did my best. Now, Andrea said in a soothing voice, feel a warmth in your chest, a wonderful warmth that travels from your chest to your shoulders, now down your arms and into your fingertips. I couldn't help it. I totally burst out laughing. Then Connor and the other guys joined me. You feel that warmth in your fingertips, Avon? Dexter asked. Andrea tried to continue talking about the warmth drifting down to our legs and feet, but everyone kept giggling and ticking, so eventually she gave up and talked to us about other ways we could relax in public. These included using breathing, visualization, meditation, and even counting or going over your times tables. At some point, Andrea said, we should all have a goal we are working towards. It doesn't need to be big, but something easily attainable. like my parents had always taught me, one small goal at a time. Dexter said he wanted to make it through a meeting without calling his mom to check the stove. Andrea said that was a good goal. Then Dexter asked if he could call his mom to check the stove. Jack said he wanted to talk to the girl at school he liked. Not ask her out or anything, but just say hi. And Mason wanted to stop making farting noises. When Andrea asked me what my goal was, Connor and I looked at each other with knowing grins. But I wasn't about to tell the whole group about our murder investigation. Instead, I said I wanted to learn how to use nunchucks, which was also true. When Andrea asked Connor about his goal, I blurted it, talking like a person who makes fun of him at school to a cage match. The others giggled, but Connor squinted at me suspiciously, then turned his attention to Andrea. I guess I should try to get out somewhere, he said. I haven't been anywhere but school and the stagecoach pass since I moved. The way he said his goal felt non-committal, and I doubted he would follow through with it. Andrea gave us the last 10 minutes to socialize, so everyone wanted me to show them what kinds of things I could do with my feet. Andrea handed me her clipboard, paper, and pen, and I wrote, "People with arms are lame." I also opened up a water bottle and put my hair in a ponytail. Impressive stuff. "Wow, Aiden," Dexter said. "You're like a superhero, like a totally awesome, armless superhero." "If only I had those nunchucks," I said. "Armless Aiden," Denver announced, "able to open water bottles with a single toe." I blushed. That darn idiopathic craniofacial isthma. Not a single toe, but that's okay. I glanced at Connor, but he wasn't smiling. Actually, he looked downright annoyed. Later, on the way home in the car, I asked him what the matter was. "Nothing." He slumped down in the seat and crossed his arms. "Dexter just thinks he's so funny." "He is funny," I said. "I can tell you think he's so funny, but I don't." He turned away from me so he could stare out the window. "He's starting to get on my nerves, calling you armless Aiden," he mumbled. "Someone at the support group calls you armless Aiden?" "Is that from his Tourette's?" Mom asked. "No," Connor said. "It's from his stinking personality." I looked at Mom in the rearview mirror. I could tell from her wrinkled, squinty eyes she was grinning. I grinned back and then looked out my own window, hardly able to keep myself from giggling. I had never, ever in my entire life made a boy jealous until now. The end.